Hello, my name is Fosco. I'm Senior Product Designer on the release group in GitLab. Today I'm going to walk you through an issue I'm working on called Display Environment Tier on the Environments page. To start, what is an environment tier? An environment tier on GitLab is essentially the type of deployment tier that an environment is targeting. What does that mean, right? Today you can have your production environment in GitLab called production, but what if it's called customer portal or has an auto-generated name by your system? Well, there's no technical reason not to use whatever name you want while still having the environment be the production environment. So the deployment tier, the environment tier, was created as a kind of type to your environment to make sure that you can name them whatever you want, but still have them be the production environment or the staging environment or testing, etc. So that's the idea. Today this already exists. You can add your tier. Where is it? Well, it's not showing up here. Yeah, deployment tier keyword to your GitLab YAML file, but it's not on the environments page, right? So this is what it's about. So going to the environments page, this is what it looks like today. It's pretty crowded. Some of the content is already breaking. You see here, this screenshot was taken on a 16-inch screen. So it's a pretty large screen, but it's just buckling under the weight already. And if we add another column, this is what happens, right? The actions at the end are further clipped, and it's not working. So what would be the minimum change required to add this information? Well, we could add within the name of the environment, so we indicate environment tier, and then we can say that these are development environments and this is the production environment in case it's not called production. But what would it take to actually add more information to this table? Because we might need to do that in the future and in the process fix up some of the issues. So the first thing to fix, which is actually pretty subtle here, is the name of this environment folder. This is essentially a group of these environments that has a folder structure. You can click show all to go to a page that shows all the 2,591 in here. But you can see this label is broken, right? This other project has a bunch of environment folders. You can clearly see the problem. Here it's even clipped. So essentially we can make a small CSS change and have this fixed. Once we do that, the next thing that you can see as a problem is that the environments in the folder, they are shifted to the right to give you the affordance that these three are inside this row opposed to this one, which works as an affordance, but visually it doesn't really, because you see it creates a misalignment in the table. So this is already a very complex area with complex information, lots of information, and we are making it harder to read by shifting the text outside of the grid lines. So what we can do to fix this is essentially undo this padding and just use color to communicate the same thing. So here, when you open this folder, you see the rows marked in gray are the ones that belong to this folder. That is also understandable, and it doesn't visually break the table. And then the final thing, right? This table is not working at this size, so let's make it full width, so we can finally add the deployment tiers. And here, an optional thing, but I think this row here also visually breaks the table because it goes away from the visual logic of the table where everything is in a grid cell and has a centered element. So we could perhaps just move this link here to the top so it's even cleaner, and then we can finally have the space to add the tier. Now, I don't think the table is necessarily the best UI to show this complex information about environments. We can definitely rethink this in the future, but that would be a much bigger iteration. So this is a faster and smaller way we can make this table more readable and more clean and more scalable to add more information in the near future. This is already being discussed, and there will be a couple of issues created for this line of work. You can see in the description, and if you have any feedback, just let me know. Cheers.